Well, here's a clip from Rio Tinto, who talked a little bit more about Palantir this week as well, and then we'll cover an IPO that's happening that Palantir actually backed. So here is one of the employees from Rio Tinto discussing their relationship with Palantir.
The world's leading biggest fleet of unmanned trucks, and that basically gives you a lot of data. And we have not been good enough at using the data. So there's huge potential. I'll give you one example. We work with Palantir on how we run our underground mine in Mongolia, and it's what you call a block cave, and you basically need to understand the seismics of the rocks everywhere. And we were just having overload of information, learning to extract the right data used in a structured way enables people to simply run the mine much better. We run the world's leading biggest.
Dom, you think we're going to get more and more and more of these CEOs highlighting these use cases, which is why Dan Ives is going to keep upgrading us?
Yeah, I do. And I think the real Nvidia moment is actually when the developers come on board. There's DevCon 2 coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if they're already preparing for DevCon 3. That's a movement, right? Nvidia knew that early, and that's why they have 40,000 developers on CUDA. Meta has a bazillion on their open source with their large language models with Llama and other things like that. So when you get the developer community, because that's what really gives you scale quickly, right? In the SaaS world, because that's your talent, that's your R&D and your engineers and your data scientists. So if you get their buy-in, they're going to tell you, no, I want that tool, because that will allow me to get my application and everything done way faster. Going back to the interview you did with Boundary Discovery, I think that was their name, with the news, they said, hey, we could have done this in 6 months and we would have had to pay people. We would have to have the money to support it. But instead, we were able to get this Palantir done in about 3 weeks. I mean, I've just never seen a software company provide so many different use cases on the drastic ROI that they deliver. Like, it's just, I've seen a lot of companies tout their ROIs and stuff, and this is coming from CEOs and executives, and you don't see CEOs and executives, maybe 1 or 2 come on stage and give a testimony, not 40 at a conference. Like, that doesn't happen. It just doesn't. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Amir, any reaction to that Rio Tinto CEO?
Yeah, it's just one in the line of many. I mean, we've been seeing this actively during AIP cons, Foundry cons, CEOs of some major businesses coming out, and they pretty much all have the same praise. Something that would have taken like years is down to months, in some cases weeks. Money being saved, money being earned, everything just goes up. I think I saw some post, I can't recall who it was from, but it's like shrinking IT budgets. It's not that the budget is lower, it's that the value proposition for the software is just too low. And I think Palantir really turns that on its head. Like they are proving time and time again that, I mean, if you take all the AIP cons, for example, outside of healthcare, I can't really even remember like a recurring industry. Every AIP con, they're just introducing new and new use cases for new industries. Like healthcare has been like a topic for several AIP cons, but outside from that, it's like all fresh businesses. Like you watch an AIP con, you're like, oh wow, I didn't think of that, or I didn't think it would play such a huge role in this industry. As this guy mentioned, like mines in Mongolia, underground mines in Mongolia. It was like in whose like bull thesis is like, yeah, they're gonna revolutionize mines in Mongolia. Like no one thinks about it, but they can really, they've proven themselves. They can integrate into any industry for any use case and just provide so much value everywhere. And I think people are starting to wake up to the fact that Dan Ives obviously has woken up to that, even though he can't back the math. But just on Dan Ives, I recall a tweet from Joseph Carlson like a day or two ago. It says like, "Oh, I figured out how Dan Ives makes his price targets. He just takes the current price and adds $15 to it, and it makes a lot of sense and seems to be working. So why change something that works?" But yeah, overall, I think we're going to see more and more people be proud of being associated with Palantir. It's not many years ago now, especially like even during the time they were public, Palantir wasn't even allowed to discuss like, yeah, we are providing software to this business, because they didn't want to be associated with Palantir. There's a lot of controversy surrounding Palantir, this black box that no one really knows. They have worked with ICE since 2003. No one wants to associate with them. So even though they had clients that saw value in using Palantir, they weren't allowed to like even mention it. And I think that's starting to change very rapidly. I think it will be a flex to say that, yeah, we're using Palantir. And it's starting to happen.
I mean, just look at how many employees they have, Amit. I mean, 3,900 employees and the revenues they're doing. And I'm telling you, they are selective as hell to who they hire. I've tried. You know, they have engineers that also have personalities. We call those in the industry unicorns. They're very, very rare. Can they be super smart, but also talk to a CEO and break down the business? Chad, holler at you. Definitely one of the unicorns out there. He's amazing.
Yeah, Chad is absolutely incredible. By the way, if folks are in the chat right now and they're not following Chad on X, please make sure you are following Chad. His Twitter is right there. He's at 9,200 followers. We want to get him to 10,000 as soon as possible. He is one of the people really leading the charge on getting the word out on Palantir. So please make sure to follow him there. And at the same time, Iliano, which the merch store is going to be back pretty soon. And we're going to get some updates on merch as well. You can follow him here